This is Chris with Brawls. Like, subscribe to Team W Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris Bales, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both my TikToks. I'll be down there in the description box. And I'm here to do my WWE Monday Night Raw January 16th, 2023 reviews. So here we go, discussing about Monday Night Raw. Now we kick off the show with the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, Jimmy and Jay the Usos, and Solo Sikoa, the Bloodline. So yeah, they make their way down to the ring, and they was talking about how Solo got some match against Mustafa Ali later on tonight, how he will beat him, and then we got Roman Reigns next week on Raw, and that everybody will be acknowledging Roman Reigns as the tribal chief, and everybody from the family is going to be there and all that stuff. And not only that, next week they will beat the Judgment Day to retain the tag team titles. So yeah, that's what the Usos was saying and all that. But then all of a sudden they get interrupted by Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and Rhea Ripley, the Judgment Day. So yeah, the Judgment Day comes out, Rhea Ripley starts talking some junk and all that stuff, and the Usos starts laying down some facts with them, talking about how they beat the New Day, how they beat RK Bro, how, they beat the Street Profits and many other tag teams, and next it will be the Judgment Day. So yeah, that's what they said, and next week on Raw they're going to beat them. So yeah, that's what the Usos said, and then Dominic gets up to their faces and starts talking crap, talking about, what we call people in there as Usies or whatever. We call them, I forgot what the word was, to tell you the truth, but yeah, he said something, and, the Usos was pretty much like, alright, whatever, and then Dominic was calling out Solo, calling him a fake Street Fighter. So yeah, that's what Dominic said, and then Solo and Dominic gets face-to-face, but then Rhea Ripley pushes Dominic back, and she gets face-to-face with Solo, and then Solo backs off at one point, and then he just jumps right back to Rhea's face, and then Dominic comes up with a forearm onto Solo, and then Solo starts beating down Dominic, and then we see the Usos and the rest of the Judgment Day brawling and stuff, going at it outside the ring, and then they went outside the ring, and Solo got face-to-face with Rhea Ripley again. Looked like he was about to hit the Samoan spike onto her, up until he turns around, he gets hit with a crossbody from Mustafa Ali, where he jumped off the top turnbuckle and he starts attacking Solo. And then, yeah, their match will be up next. So yeah, Solo Sikoa versus Mustafa Ali, one-on-one up next on Raw. So yeah, that match will be happening up next, and we got a 6-man elimination match as well, which is a number one contenders match. Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley versus Baron Corbin versus The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler versus Finn Balor in a 6-man elimination match. Winner of this match faces Austin Theory for the United States Championship next week on Raw. So yeah, next week's Raw is going to be a big one, 30th anniversary for it. So yeah, and many legends as well on there. But yeah, that match will be happening later on tonight. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Monday Night Raw. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, it was a first match of the night. It was Solo Sikoa versus Mustafa Ali one-on-one. It was an okay match. Mustafa trying to fight back a few times and stuff. Solo's just beating him down and everything. He throws him into the ring post, and Ali falls down to the ground and stuff. And Solo was about to take care of him, but then all of a sudden we see the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, Jimmy and Jay the Usos, coming back out, jumping over the barricade and stuff. But then all of a sudden we see Kevin Owens running down there, attacking the Usos, brawling with them outside of the ring, just throwing them into the steel steps and barricades and all that stuff. But while that's going down, Solo's distracted by that. And then we see Mustafa Ali jump out of nowhere, hitting a tornado DDT onto Solo. He pins him 1, 2. Solo barely kicked out at 2. Ali then climbs up the top turnbuckle, jumps off with a 450 splash. Solo moves out the way, but Ali lands on his feet, and then Ali gets captured by Solo, and Solo hits this Samoan spike onto him, pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Solo Sikoa defeated Mustafa Ali tonight on Raw. That's what happened. It was an okay match to kick off Raw. I'll give that match 2.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. But then after the match ended, Kevin Owens quickly grabs Solo, turns him around, kicks him in the stomach, and hits the stunner onto him. And then he starts attacking Solo, beating him down and stuff. Puts him on the announce table, beating him down so he can jump off the barricade. onto Solo, putting him through the table, but the Usos comes up and, brawling with KO, and then KO's just beating him down as well, throwing steel chairs at him and all that stuff. And then we see Adam Pearce and a bunch of security guards got to pull Kevin Owens back, and the Bloodline stepped away. So, yeah, that's what happened. Pretty good stuff, though. But then after that, we see Bobby Lashley talking backstage, and he says that he don't care how many hoops he gets to jump over. He said it's all good if it's an elimination match tonight. He gets to put 5 guys in hurt lock, making them all tap out. And then he will go on to face Theory next week and beat him for the United States Championship. So, yeah, that's what Bobby Lashley said. But, yeah, pretty good stuff. So, yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Raw. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw. Now, before I talk about the tag team match, there was a few things that happened. Now we see Cody Rhodes' pretty much redemption story pretty much playing out, and it has been announced that he's going to be at the Royal Rumble pretty much in the match. So yeah, we kind of already figured that, but I wish they could have just done it as a surprise, kind of, even though we would have probably knew, but screw it, it's whatever. So yeah, Cody Rhodes will be at the Rumble. And not only that, we get to the next segment where we see Elias getting interviewed by Byron Sexton. He's talking about how he's going to win the 2023 Royal Rumble match for his friend and all that stuff. So yeah, and for his brother and all that. So yeah, that's what Elias was saying. But then he said he has to go to talk to Adam Pearce about something. And then MVP walks out and he goes like, I already talked to Adam Pearce that we already got a winner for the 2023 Royal Rumble match. And he'll be facing you later on tonight in the match. And Elias was down for it. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then we get to the next match. It was Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, the Street Profits, versus Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander in a tag team match. And it was going pretty good and all that stuff. But during this match, we see MVP make his way down to the ring, pretty much at ringside. And we got a pretty good match going back and forth. At the ending, at one point, we see Angelo hit the spine buster onto Shelton, and then he tags in Montez. Montez is up there on the top turnbuckle, jumps off with the frog splash onto Shelton. He pins Shelton 1, 2. Cedric breaks up the pin at the count of 2. Both teams going at it and stuff. Everybody jumping over the ropes and all that stuff. But then we get to at one point where we see Angelo throws Cedric into the corner. He runs to try that splash. MVP, it was a botch moment where MVP was supposed to grab Cedric and pull him out the way, and then that's when Angelo smacked the turnbuckles, but he was a little bit a second too late, and he still kind of got hit, but it was not the best. And then while the referee's distracted by MVP, Shelton gets in the ring, grabbing Angelo, lifting him up, throws him to Cedric. Cedric hits the knee to the face onto him, pins Angelo 1, 2. Angelo rolls through, pinning Cedric, pinning him for the 3 count. So yeah, that's what happened, a crucifix pin right there. So yeah, the Street Profits defeated Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin tonight in the tag team match. That's what happened. Pretty good match though. I give it 3 stars. That's what I'll give it. Really good match. So yeah, that's what happened there. But then after that match, we see Finn Balor and Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and Rhea Ripley, the Judgement Day, get interviewed. Finn Balor was talking about how he's going to win the 6-pack challenge and then go on to beat Theory next week on Raw to become the new United States champion. But then he gets interrupted by Chad Gable and Otis, Alpha Academy. Alpha Academy talking crap and all that, talking crap to Dominic about being in the pen, pretty much being in prison. And Dominic was like, you don't understand, hard times in there and all that stuff. Just funny stuff. And Damian Priest looks at Gable and them, he goes how about you take some steps before you get in the match with us, in the ring with us. So yeah, that's what Damian said, and Gable was yeah, Otis has a guy who steps in, and they walk away. So yeah, the Judgment Day versus Alpha Academy in a tag team match later on tonight on Raw. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing happens on Monday Night Raw. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, now we get to the next segment, we see Becky Lynch make her entrance. She comes walking down through the crowd and all that. She gets into the ring and then pretty much starts calling out Bayley and, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Damage Control. So yeah, they make their way down to the ring. Becky kept on calling Bayley a Karen and all that. Bayley pretty much didn't understand what Karen was until Io Sky had to tell her what Karen was. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then pretty much Bayley was talking about how Becky Lynch took her spot on the main roster and how she was stuck down there in NXT and all that because Becky called her and said, the only best version of you was back in 2015 and all that stuff. And Bayley's pretty much mad and jealous because of Becky's success, saying it should have been her. She should have been one of the first women to main event WrestleMania. She should have been on Raw and SmackDown, became pretty much the man and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what Bayley was saying. And then Becky was like, hold on, but didn't you say you want to stay down there and help the women and all that for the future and all that stuff? But she said she didn't have anything handed to her, how she had worked for it and all that. She didn't become the man to begin with. That she was just another body on the roster and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what Becky was saying. And then Bayley was talking about how you would have never been a man if you would have never got punched in the face by another woman. And Becky was like, oh wow, I never heard that before. First time ever, huh? And then pretty much Becky starts saying, well, if you claim that you're pretty good and all that, and you don't need Dakota's and Io Sky's help, and Bayley was like, yeah, I don't need their help. I didn't even have to have their help to beat you a few weeks ago. And Becky was like, oh, so you didn't need their help beat me a few weeks ago? And she was like, no. And then Becky pretty much gloated her into a match next week on Raw in a steel cage. And Bayley kind of hesitated, saying yes, and then she was like, and Becky was like, oh, I didn't hear you. She goes like, yes, I'm in a match with you. So yeah, next week on Raw, Becky Lynch versus Bayley 1-on-1 in a steel cage match. So that'd be pretty good. Next week's Raw is pretty packed. So yeah, that's what's happening there. And then after that, we see Dolph Ziggler getting ready for the match later on tonight, and then Mustafa Ali comes up talking about, oh wow, you get the main event you get the main event Raw tonight and all that stuff. And pretty much Mustafa Ali's still pissed off about last week and all that stuff. And, he goes like, well, you always get opportunities handed to you. And Dolph Ziggler was like, you should know that nobody gets an opportunity handed to him down here and all that stuff. And then Ali pretty much gets mad, hits Ziggler in the back of the head. He goes like, do I have your attention now? And then walks away. So, yeah. Looks like we're going to be getting a feud between Mustafa Ali and Dolph Ziggler soon. That's what it looks like. But yep, later on tonight, the 6-man elimination match on Raw in the main event. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, it was a 1-on-1 match. So yeah, we got Elias out there in the ring. He's waiting for his opponent, but then MVP comes out and he tells Elias, he goes like, remember when I said that I already talked to Adam Pearce and you're going to be in a match tonight? And he says, here's your opponent, the one that's going to be winning the 2023 Royal Rumble match. And out comes Omos. So yeah, it was Omos with MVP versus Elias 1-on-1. And it was alright, I guess. Elias was doing some stuff and taking Omos out there outside the ring, brawling with him and stuff. Omos beats him down, throws him into the ring. At one point, he grabs Elias' guitar and slams it on the ground, destroying it. He gets back in the ring. Elias starts working on him, hitting a jumping knee to the face onto him. He hits the second one, and then finally hits the third one, dropping Omos down onto one knee. Elias climbs up the top turnbuckle, and then Omos gets up, grabbing Elias, pulling him off the top turnbuckle, and hitting that two-handed chokeslam onto him, pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Omos defeated Elias tonight in a 1-on-1 match. That's what happened. For that match, I'll give it 1.5 stars, and that's what I'll give it. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then after the match ended, we see Byron Saxton interviewing Adam Pearce backstage, talking about Monday Night Raw for next week and all that stuff. Yeah, Adam Pearce was talking about how he got some stuff planned and all that stuff, but then he gets interrupted by Akira Tozawa. Akira Tozawa is asking Adam Pearce if he could be in the Rumble, and Adam Pearce is like, I don't know, we still got to figure stuff out. And then Akira Tozawa was like, here, how about this? I'll prove myself for the Rumble if you put me in the match tonight. Adam Pearce was like, okay, I'll put you in the match tonight. So yeah, Akira Tozawa was in the match later on tonight. And then after that, we see the Judgment Day walking backstage, about to come to the ring. So yeah, up next it'll be the Judgment Day versus Alpha Academy in the tag team match up next on Raw. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, it was a tag team match. It was Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio with Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley at ringside. The Judgment Day versus Chad Gable and Otis, Alpha Academy in a tag team match. And this match, it was a pretty good match. It was going back and forth and everything. At one point, we see Otis hit the World's Strongest Slam onto Damian Priest. He pins him, but Priest barely kicking out at 2 and all that stuff. Both of them just going back at it, back and forth and everything. Otis takes down Priest, and then he was trying to hit the Caterpillar, and then he instead did like a splash pretty much onto Priest. But then he climbs up the second turnbuckle, about to hit the splash onto him. And then outside the ring, we see Chad Gable hitting a T-bone suplex onto Dominic Mysterio, taking him out. Priest gets up because Otis is distracted about what happened outside the ring. Priest gets up, climbs up there on the second turnbuckle, and then hits the South of the Heavens onto Otis off the second turnbuckle. Avalanche sent out chokeslam pretty much onto him. And then we see Gable come up, hitting that roll-through German suplex onto Damian Priest. Dominic was illegal in this match, and same for Gable. Dominic rolls up Gable, pinning him, but Gable kicked out at 2, and then got the ankle lock locked onto Dominic, about to make him tap out and everything. Dominic is crawling to the ropes. Rhea Ripley's pushing the ropes towards him and stuff. The referee's distracted by that. Distracted by Rhea Ripley, talking to her as well, and then Damian Priest comes in there, hitting South of the Heaven onto Chad Gable, laying him out, and then Dominic throws his arm over Chad Gable, pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, the Judgment Day defeated Alpha Academy tonight in a tag team match. That's what happened. Really good tag team match. I like that. I give it 3.5 stars. That's why I'll give it. Really good match. Just really good. If you have yet, go check it out. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good match. So yeah, I will see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Monday Night Raw. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, it was a 1-on-1 match. It was Mia Yim with Candice LeRae at ringside. So yeah, Candice LeRae came out for Mia Yim's match, and Mia Yim was taking on one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Io Sky, with Dakota Kai at ringside, Damage Control. So yeah, Io Sky versus Mia Yim 1-on-1, and it was an okay match. It was going pretty good and everything. At one point, we see Mia Yim hit a nice German suplex onto Io Sky, laying her out, and then after that, we see Dakota Kai popping up on the ring apron, trying to distract her and everything. Candice LeRae come up, knocking Dakota Kai off the apron, and then Io Sky comes up drop kicking Candice LeRae off the ring apron, and then we see Mia Yim grabbing Io Sky and then hitting Eat the Feet onto her, pinning her for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Mia Yim defeated Io Sky tonight in a 1-on-1 match. That's what happened. It was a pretty good match. I give that match 3 stars. That's why I'll give it. Pretty good match between Mia Yim and Io Sky. That's what happened there. And then after that, we see the video package with Alexa Bliss and everything happening from a few weeks ago and all that stuff as well. And then we see Bianca Belair making her way down to the ring up next. So yeah, it looks like Bianca Belair will be on Raw up next. And still to come later on tonight, we still got the 6-man elimination match. Winner of that match will be facing Austin Theory next week for the United States Championship. So yeah, that match is the #1 contenders match later on tonight in the main event. So yeah, that match will be happening later on tonight. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Monday Night Raw. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, we see the WWE Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair make her way down to the ring, and she starts talking about Alexa Bliss. Talking about what Alexa Bliss did to her a few weeks ago when they had a match on Raw for the Raw Women's Championship, how Alexa Bliss DDT'd her onto the steel steps a few times and all that, possibly leaving a scar on her face and all that stuff. And then she's seen what Alexa Bliss had to say last week on Raw and everything else. And she starts calling out Alexa Bliss. Well, Alexa Bliss makes her way down, pretty much walking down the ramp, but she don't get into the ring or nothing. She's standing outside the ring, starts talking about, well, what do you want, Bianca? Because you're not afraid of me. I mean, you're afraid of me and everything, and you know it. And by the way, I forgot to mention, Alexa Bliss has like a new theme song as well. It's like a remix version of her other one. So yeah, new theme song for Alexa Bliss as well. And yeah, Bianca was talking about, well, I got a proposition for you. How about this? Me and you, 1-on-1 at the Royal Rumble for the Raw Women's Championship. And Alexa Bliss accepts, and Bianca was like, okay, see you next Saturday. And knowing that, I want to fight you right now. And then she gets out the ring, and both of them starts brawling and stuff outside the ring, goes through the crowd, beating each other down. and then we see Bianca Belair set like two chairs up, and she lifts up Alexa Bliss, about to hit the KOD onto Bliss onto those chairs, up until we see, and this is in the crowd by the way, up until we see like where people walk in and stuff, we see a bunch of smoke, and we see pretty much Uncle Howdy. Like, you don't see him pretty much, but he's like standing there like a silhouette pretty much, and you can see him like holding the jacket, laughing and stuff. So yeah, and then Alexa Bliss, Bianca lets go of Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss hits her in the back of the leg, and then hits a DDT onto Bianca Belair on the concrete floor outside the ring. So yeah, that's what happened there, and Alexa Bliss is staring at Uncle Howdy. But yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good stuff. But still to come later on tonight on Raw, we still got the 6-man elimination number 1 contenders match. So yeah, that match will still be happening later on tonight in the main event. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Monday Night Raw. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, it was a one-on-one match. It was Bronson Reed versus Akira Tozawa one-on-one. Now, this is Bronson Reed's first match on Monday Night Raw, so yeah, he gets his match, and he was doing pretty good. He was laying out Akira Tozawa. Akira Tozawa was doing pretty good as well, hitting hurricanranas onto him and stuff, taking Bronson Reed out to the outside the ring and stuff like that. But then we get to Reed hitting a powerbomb onto Akira Tozawa on the barricade. And then he gets on the ring apron, jumping off the apron with a shoulder block onto Akira Tozawa, making him doing a backflip. And then he grabs him, throws him back into the ring, climbs up the top turnbuckle, jumps off with a big splash, the tsunami, onto Akira Tozawa, and then pins him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Bronson Reed defeated Akira Tozawa tonight in a one-on-one match. That's what happened. I give that match 1.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was a pretty good one. So yeah, that's what happened there. Akira Tozawa got some offense in as well, which is a good thing, So yeah, that's what happened there. And then after that, we see Byron Saxton interviewing Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was talking about how he's going to win the 6-man elimination match, become number 1 contender for the United States Championship, go on next week, defeat Austin Theory to become the United States Champion, go to the Royal Rumble, win the match, and then go main event WrestleMania and win the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. That's what Seth Rollins was saying. And then he says that, in the great words of Freddie Mercury, he wants it all now. So yeah, that's what Seth Rollins said. But up next, it'll be the main event. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on Monday Night Raw, it was the main event. It was Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley versus The Miz versus Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin with JBL at ringside versus Dolph Ziggler in a 6-man elimination match, number 1 contenders match. Winner of this match faces the United States Champion Austin Theory next week for the United States Championship on the 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. We've seen the United States Champion Austin Theory on commentary for this match. So yeah, it was going back and forth and everything. Everybody was getting their moves in. Miz had the figure 4 leg lock locked onto Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler reverses it by rolling over onto his stomach and stuff. Miz started being in pain, but then Seth Rollins comes up hitting the curb stomp onto Miz, pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, the Miz was the first one eliminated in this match. And then during this match, we see Ziggler going at it, hitting a super kick onto Baron Corbin, then hitting a super kick onto Bobby Lashley when Lashley was trying to spear him, and then he hits the zigzag onto Lashley. Finn Balor jumps off the second turnbuckle, getting hit with a super kick in the air, and then Seth Rollins comes in there, hitting a pedigree onto Dolph Ziggler, pinning him for the 3 count. So yeah, Dolph Ziggler was the next one eliminated, and then it came down to 4. Everybody was going at it. Finn Balor was in the ring, hitting the drop kick onto Bobby Lashley in the corner, climbs up the top turnbuckle, holding onto his ribs and stuff because his ribs is injured, jumps off the top turnbuckle with a coup de grace onto Bobby Lashley. But when he was getting back up and stuff, he gets hit with a curb stomp by Seth Rollins and gets pinned for the 3 count. So yeah, Finn Balor was the next one eliminated. And Rollins was eliminating everybody, literally, in this match. And then it only went down to 3. Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, and Baron Corbin. Rollins was on the apron and stuff, but then Omos comes up grabbing Rollins, throwing him over the announce table and stuff like that. And then we see we see Baron Corbin get up and he looks at Omos and he gets into the ring and he gets hit with a spear by Lashley and gets pinned for the 3 count. So Baron Corbin was the next one eliminated. And then we see Austin Theory come up hitting Lashley in the head with the United States Championship, looking at Omos, telling him that's what he does. And then Omos grabs him, pretty much puts him onto the announce table, and then, Theory starts fighting back and stuff, jumps off the announce table and stuff, and then we see Seth Rollins hitting the curb stomp onto Omos on the announce table, and then he jumps off the announce table, hitting a crossbody onto Theory, beating him down and stuff, and then he gets into the ring. MVP gets on the ring apron, he gets hit with a super kick, getting knocked off the apron. Rollins runs to the ropes to hit the curb stomp onto Lashley, but Lashley hits a spear onto him, pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Bobby Lashley defeated Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, The Miz, and Finn Balor tonight in the 6-man elimination #1 contenders match. That's what happened. Pretty good match. So, and then after the match ended, we see Austin Theory standing on the announce table and Lashley in the ring staring at each other. So yeah, that's what ended Raw. And yeah, next week on Raw, we will see the United States Champion Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley 1-on-1 for the United States Championship next week on Raw. So yeah, that match is now made official. And yeah, for tonight's main event, I'll give it 4 stars. I'll give it 4.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was a really good main event. So yeah, I'll say that was match of the night easily. But yeah, for tonight's Monday Night Raw episode, I'll give it 8 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was a pretty good episode, but next week's episode looks pretty good. 2 title matches, a steel cage match, and many more stuff. So yeah, that has been my Monday Night Raw reviews. Like, subscribe to Team W Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris Vales, and like this video and comment and everything. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both my TikToks. I'll be down there in the description box. And yeah, I'll see you guys later for this Wednesday's AEW Dynamite reviews and this Friday's Friday Night SmackDown reviews. See you guys later. Until then.